There you go.
All right, go for it.
Call the workshop to order. Number one's insurance agent, request for proposal, I believe.
This item was tabled at the last meeting. I was to attend the Light and Power Commission tonight at 4:30, but due to Mr. Tremley being sick, the commission did not meet. Is that correct, Randy?
We're meeting next Tuesday at 4:30.
Okay. I did send out a statement from Mr. Tremley in regards to the concern that we have with pursuing Mark Scarpel as our agent. Do we have any questions, concerns, thoughts in regards to this?
I truly believe that we should go where we can get a service person when you dial the phone, somebody should be able to take care of you. And if you can't get that service from Mark Scarpel, then I truly believe that there's another agent in town and we should use the other agent. Because we've had really good results prior, when he was our agent of record the last time.
Mark?
Yeah.
Yes. Any other thoughts from the council?
Yeah, I mean, as far as even switching, moving forward, I mean, I know we did that in the past when there was, you know, a rotation of agents in town, but if we're really only getting service from the one agent until something can prove that changes, I would say just go with the agent we're getting the best service from for the foreseeable future, so. Especially if it's just a set rate that's annual anyway, or always has been in the past, I think.
Glenn, Cody?
I'm good with going with Mark. I mean, didn't sounded like you guys are going with Mark also then?
Probably, we've got a bunch of stuff on the table as far as the new substation and taking in shipments and insuring stuff before it's installed when it's kinda in limbo. But he's already on top of, and we don't really wanna necessarily change that until this project's over. So I think we're gonna go that way as well. I can't speak for the committee until we meet, but I would guess with the recommendation of the Light and Power manager that that's what he wants to do. The board will be on that same wavelength.
So do we want to approve changing that tonight and add that to an additional agenda item?
I'd say absolutely so.
Okay.
Okay, that'll be number 6, additional on the agenda.
I'm not hearing any significant objections here, so I don't know why we wouldn't just move forward.
Okay.
Okay, next is splitting parcel 17.277.0010.
Josh is here from the hospital, and this parcel, it used to be Gary Anderson's property at 418 2nd Street Northeast. The hospital has acquired this, and this lot needs to be split into lot 18 and lot 17. With splitting this new lot, we will also need to add an additional address. So we'll need to approve adding 414 2nd Street Northeast also. And then as per city zoning ordinance 153, each building hereafter erected shall be located on having a lot 10,000 square feet. This is before the ordinance, and so both of these lots will be 8,760 square feet.
What was before the ordinance?
That it was platted out, in that lot. So anything before the ordinance, if it was platted out before the ordinance was established, does not necessarily have to be 10,000 feet because it was platted to the 8,760 square feet.
Since these lots already exist, this is just a simple lot division, correct?
That is correct.
So, and where exactly is, so So on Second Street is,
So this is on Second Street, this is that street.
Second lot in off of Dill.
Right
Drew,
next to John,
Drew,
yeah.
on Second
Yeah.
Street Northeast, heading towards like Elite Electric.
John Gappa, right next to him.
So, how much closer does this put the house to the next door neighbor?
Oh, they come within the setbacks.
Okay,
The
so
house,
this
the house actually fits on the lot, which we've gotten out and we've actually marked it all out. They have enough, the 7 feet setback on each side, and actually, I think it's more,
Yeah, we
isn't
have
it?
plenty, I think, yep.
Yep,
Say that again?
We have enough, we have plenty. There's more than the 7-foot setback between all three properties, or whatever, you know, between the three, between John and the first house, and then that house and the second house, and then if anyone were to build on that last lot that's still open, there'd still be 7 feet from that as well.
But the setbacks would be a separate issue. So if down the road, another issue like this were to happen, and we didn't know what the houses were gonna be before we approved it, we still have to, apply or comply with the setbacks.
with the setbacks.
So you couldn't get any closer to the next door neighbor just because the lot is a little smaller.
No, yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Track.
If you want to, if,
Not without a variance.
Right, not without a variance, but that public hearing and all that.
Right, we're lucky that these houses are tiny.
yeah, they are, and that's, these houses probably the only ones that are gonna fit on these lots. So it's kind of a perfect fit. Any other questions in regards to splitting the lots?
that is on our agenda, right?
Yep,
Okay. So when we split them, then we're also gonna give a new address, right?
we will also do assigning the additional address.
Is that part of the,
Yep,
Number 2.
so number 1 is splitting, number
Yeah.
2 is assigning the appropriate address.
okay.
Any other questions on the parcels, splitting the parcels or anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, then we'll move on to, current balance of all loan funds that the city currently has.
With all of the development and stuff going on in town, I know there's been some, inquiry in regards to where we sit on fund balances on any of our business loans or housing loans, and so I've provided to you tonight all of the loan, or all of the funds that we, currently can loan out money through. And so, basically, I'm just putting it out there for you guys, so if somebody does inquire, that is what we are sitting at in fund balances. And I know, Jim, I know you've been working with a few individuals, so I hope this was beneficial to you.
So like the green pizza one,
Mm-hmm.
does that, with that being sold, does that need to be paid back?
I kinda think that isn't it, can I even discuss that
Oh,
right now?
okay, never mind.
No.
So, and there's some of those loans, that won't get paid back because, and I don't see it right now. Which one was it that?
Down on the housing.
Housing one, $452,779. That's the one that's been loaned out, and that's forgivable, right? Down on the SCDP,
The small city, yeah, the SCDP Housing Fund 39. That one is, these loans are forgivable after the resident has lived in their home for 10 years. But as I stated in the last meeting, we had 2 individuals that have sold their house before the 10 years was up, and so that money went back into the cash balance. And so right now, I am working with, them to find out how I can get that money back out into the community. So if we have to go through the same scenario as what they did when they first got it, or if they can just get it and redo their house. Because there were certain contractors that had to be hired to do it, they had to go through a bunch of paperwork. So Emma Jean, and I have the numbers here for the individuals that I'm working with, to see if we can get that money back out in the community.
okay.
The other one is the business fund too. The business fund, also has it after 10 years also is forgivable.
Yeah.
The, Fund 46, that's the first time home buyers account or what?
Yep, and that is the one where, it's based on, your interest rate is based on, your income.
Income.
Isn't that something?
And I've been trying to figure out how we can, it's a restricted fund, and I cannot find any information on it if I can get it out or use it for something else.
I know in the past we
Yeah.
talked about changing that to, it had, the original program had kind of been set up with, certain percentages kind of written in.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about moving that to a percentage over prime at the time of the loan issuance. I don't know what other restrictions are involved with that, but if there's nothing on record and it's a restricted fund, who do we have to talk to? The auditor, or go past the auditor and talk
I
to?
talked to, we brought it up to the auditor and to Patrick too. Not really sure what I can and can't do with it.
So, my question is if,
Let's spend it and ask for forgiveness second.
well, or my question is, if we discontinue the program altogether, can we just roll that into a different fund? I mean, what's stopping us from dissolving the program and moving it to something else?
Patrick? Any thoughts?
But that's not a good idea because there's something that says we're on the hook for maintaining the program for a set time, or?
I'm just trying to remember the terms of the program, and then thinking of what Minnesota state statutes can apply. I have to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be something, I mean,
If we were gonna do that, let's say we can, if there's no impediment, I think it'd have to go into the general fund.
oh, not the EDA?
Yeah, I think that if you're gonna end the program, I think you'd have to go into the general fund, not the EDA.
Okay.
That's just my, let's say, yes, we can do it, I think that's my gut, as to where the money would have to end up.
So you're talking about taking the money out of Housing Fund 46 and putting it into one of the other funds?
Or just finding something, I mean, we haven't had a request for probably, what, 5 years? Well, since the interest rates,
Since the interest rates started fluctuating, I would say.
so maybe it'll come back on, but I don't know, the other thing was I mean, it kinda made sense, but your, income had to be so low that,
Mhm.
so that either the numbers will have to fluctuate in the program to make it more appealing again. Either, like I said, going a certain percentage over prime instead of these set rates that are written into the program, and fluctuating the earning percentages better reflect
No, we're
today's
talking about
today's
46.
market. Or we'll have to find something else to do with it. How many outstanding,
This
oh, there's,
housing fund.
right there, there's 44,000 left outstanding, so realistically, I mean, you're talking about 250,000 if everything's paid off,
Mhm.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, but usually that money, if it comes in a certain category, it comes with certain rules and regulations, and you can't cross the streams. You can't.
No, that's what I'm saying, to do that, we'll probably either have to dissolve the program or fundamentally change the program to either use it the way it had been used in the past, or dissolve it, and like Patrick said, maybe it'll have to go into the general fund if we dissolve it, and that might not be something that we wanna do. What I'm thinking is, right now, for commercial development, there's a lot more need on the commercial side. Not that there's not a lot of need on the housing side, but on the housing side, for instance, the amount of houses on the market that would actually fit for this program, there aren't very many. And the amount of first-time home buyers coming in looking to buy a house right now that qualify for the program
I just
is
actually
gonna be a
sent
really
me a
low
screenshot.
number because of the
And then we'll take it.
stipulations on what you can earn. Like when I enrolled in this program, I was single and like working at Menards for $14 an hour or whatever, and I still was like in the middle of the bracket for qualifying. So that's what I mean, either the program has to be reworked so it makes more sense in today's market, or we have to just look at seeing what we can do with the money otherwise. It doesn't make any sense to have $250,000 or $200,000 sitting out there just sitting in an account that doesn't do
That-
anything for the community.
But that money comes from the state, does it not?
No, it's already been issued.
Right.
Issued and retrieved and issued and retrieved.
Mhm.
So,
So if you don't use it for the rules that go with Housing Fund 46, then the state just takes it back and uses it in another part of the state that can use it.
no, I don't think so.
No,
think
this
that's
one
how it
we
works.
don't,
It's our money.
Really?
this one we don't have any
I don't think
reporting,
there's, I think it's
but I
a
have,
EDA program, it's not
Okay.
a.
yeah.
I mean, normally when they give you some, like, fund like that, it
Yep,
goes with
and-
the rules, if you don't meet the rules, then you can't use it and you find
But
somebody
this,
that can.
I don't think this had any state or federal implications, this was a EDA program when I enrolled in it 10 years ago.
It's good to know. There's a lot
But
of-
it was through the state EDA that the funds came.
I think
didn't
the
it?
original funds came in through the state.
Through the state
through a
EDA,
grant or
and it
something.
was a one-time
Right.
pass-through thing.
Right,
And they made us, set up the interest and whatnot according to,
and it hadn't been changed since the original implication of the program, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know what can be done, but one way or the other to use it, and it's a great program if we can use it for, actually getting it into people's hands that need it.
right.
I have no problem, but I just think either the numbers have to be changed or, and make it more appealing to you. And maybe with the interest rates going up as much as they are, it will become more appealing to you without changing anything. That's hard to say, but it would make more sense to set it as a percentage over prime, and then it's appealing all the time instead of having these set interest rates that only make sense when interest, when mortgages, interest is up to 6, 7, 8%.
Can't disagree with that. Anything else on the funds?
Any other questions? All right. In your packet, I had the police budget and the fire budget, if you guys wanted to go over those. If you had any questions.
We got time, let's pick one of them.
The printouts on a separate page or? are they-
Just waiting to see if anybody has any questions.
Yeah.
Which one do you wanna go on?
You pick one.
You pick one, Cody.
Well, the first one that popped up in mine was the police budget.
Let's do the police budget first.
Okay, the police budget has the 5th officer in it, so you'll see this year's expense budget for the police was 518,926. With that added officer, the capital outlay increase of 11,000 for the radios, brought up the budget to 676,000. Thoughts?
You have to go back to the G.
Second attachment. Separate attachment.
It's a separate attachment, it's goes back to the,
Wait, two attachments.
so that's if you employ that 5th officer for the, whole year, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if we haven't hired that officer,
Rob, did we ever kind of figure out any numbers in comparison to having a 5th officer versus having 4 officers with overtime and covering vacations and all that stuff? Or, I know it's kind of hard to do, but
It's extremely hard to do, and the only thing I could tell you is there isn't a lot of planned overtime now.
Okay.
Most of our time off is covered with officers working part-time here. So your overtime that you accrue is through late shifts with calls where they don't get home on time, or call-outs, things like that, which will be eliminating some of that with having an additional officer on and working extra times. We won't have as much on-call time at night anymore.
But you would eliminate a lot of the, I mean, essentially you would bring the salaries down, not down, but as far as the part-time help.
Right, we
Would
should,
fall off
we
of it.
should not need as much part-time help because we'll be able to be a little more flexible with the, you know, that extra officer being
Yeah.
on there, we'll be able to cover.
But with that said too, kind of the first year of that fifth officer, or whenever a new officer's hired, there's some redundancy in training and all that,
Yep.
so there's some loss over expectation, or however you wanna say it.
Right, well, I mean, you're just not gonna realize the rotation in the schedule because you're gonna be spending at minimum 3 months training that officer with another, you know, officer, so you're paying 2 people to work the same shift versus 1.
I mean, with the way turnover and everything is going and being a part of the hiring process, I mean, I guess I can see the value in having the fifth officer definitely because of the fact that there's usually quite a bit of turnover, but the other,
Yeah, the likelihood at staying at 5 officers for a long period of time is very, very low, unfortunately.
but the other thing with your budget is there's not many other places to cut other than salary.
No,
that
I mean,
That I see as far as, oh, there's, you know, extra expenditure there, just, there isn't really, that's the only thing that can really fluctuate, so.
right, the bulk of our budget has always been salary,
Yeah.
Salaries and transportation.
yeah.
Chris, you may have already explained this, but what's changed from the last time we discussed this budget?
Nothing actually. I'm just putting it out there for you. The last time that we discussed it was when we did the preliminary,
Right,
levy.
right.
Nothing much has changed on
Okay.
here.
I-
It just,
I can't find it, and I was just making sure I'm not missing something.
no, the
Except
only,
we added the radios.
yep. So the
Uh,
one thing is, the capital outlay that's on the second page. The second page is the capital outlay where I put the money for the squad cars. But we did increase that $11,000 for those radios. So the 2 new radios each year for the next 3 years.
Okay.
But that wasn't taken away, it's adding more.
Is that 11,000 adding in the 2 encrypted radios? Is that
Per
part of
year,
that?
correct, yep.
Do we receive that police aid? Is that an every year thing?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Is the only other thing, is our, communications, bill with the county going up anytime soon?
That I've heard.
Not that you heard.
So we still pay the $990 a month. So that equivalents to, about $12,442 a year that we pay the county.
I tried to get that thrown.
I
out.
know.
I can't get anywhere with it. There's not enough support for it. That was put in place by Rob's predecessor when he was sheriff, put that in place. That's been there for 20, 25 years.
To be honest with you, as difficult as we're having a time getting, you know, dispatchers hired over there and keeping them, you know, it's almost counterproductive for any of us to be looking at pulling funding from there too. They need every cent they can just to pay people to show up. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, any other questions on police? If not, we've probably got enough time to, look at the other budget.
The other one is the fire. Not much has changed on the fire. Went from 191,000, budget in 2022 to 186,000 in 2023.
Is LaSalle, in our area yet?
You're talking about the ambulance again.
Oh, that's ambulance. Okay, never mind. So, when is the, fire department ordering their, new truck?
We'll decide that at a later date.
Yeah.
So we're keeping up on the allocation that we put together, but the allocation obviously,
It doesn't even come close.
no. So right now, in the fire capital, we have $111,000 in there for a new truck. We put away, about $45,000 to $43,000 a year for the new truck.
And they're looking at 380,000 now for a new truck?
More now.
Probably gonna be at like 5 years.
You're probably
Yeah.
over half a mil now.
That was pre-inflation.
So we may have to go back to the drawing board on both the ambulance and the fire trucks.
When are the ambulance, when's the next ambulance due? Not that we're on that anyways, but.
It's like still a while because of the power we've got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we pushed it out, but back to the inflation, we'll have to go back
Yeah.
and readjust our whole spreadsheet. And we'll probably look at that at the annual meeting in February.
Yeah, it's definitely not getting cheaper to do anything, is it?
So part of the reason we had to move to the new fire hall was because the new fire truck was gonna be too big for upstairs, right? So we don't have to move. When that YouTube video gets 1,000 hits from all the firefighters, past and present, from Adelia, I don't know what happened.
I don't think anybody wants to spend any more time than they have to walking up and down these steps ever again.
No.
Okay.
Questions,
Any other
concerns?
questions, concerns? If not,
What's the lead time on the fire truck, even if we did order one, 2 years?
1.5.
I think if we ordered it this year, we'd see it in 24, end of 24 maybe.
I'm gonna get a thermometer off from that new shed or what?
What?
fundraising thermometer.
Fundraising for this new truck?
How much you say the truck was?
I think, Ryan, at most it was like 44 now. I mean,
That
you're,
truck 42 upstairs, I know it was 30 years ago, it was 109,000.
Yeah.
Hoses, air packs, everything.
I mean, there's other options out there, so.
That's just, things went up, like I said.
Yeah, they really, yeah.
And that was still Forsters too, were probably, I think Truman got a custom-made American LaFrance, it was 175,000 at that time.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Any other concerns? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the, workshop.
So moved.
So, second.
We got a motion and a second, all in favor?
I
Opposed? We stand adjourned.